away. We're gonna drop it on all the music they play on the bandstand.
Oh, excuse me. Terribly sorry. I think I heard myself.
Dancing's important. Remember that.
That's right. Number 10 on the list of things that you should know. And I hope you know that during our conversation, hygienically, I have been acceptable. That was one of the things, too. In other words, take a shower, guys, for crying out loud. I should probably acknowledge the fact that Mary Maruna is only interested in hearing her name mentioned as the winner because she said, well, Pat, for crying out loud, doesn't everybody know that that American Bandstand theme song was written by Barry Manilow? Can we do that together? Yes, the things you learn on the McMahon Group, and you get the Yahoo Style Guide. This is as a result of Angela's conversation with that lovely lady. We have another lovely lady here, Barbara Kennedy, on the subject of style. Do men just simply not get it? I just keep reflecting back on the 10 things that you listed as really important elements of etiquette, like being polite. Getting up when a lady leaves the table and saying thank you. It sounds like my mom when I was in 4th grade. Did we just not pay any attention then?
I think we just got lazy. I think we just got lazy and we got self-centered, and I don't think that when we meet another person, for some reason, we think the whole meeting is about ourselves and that there's not another person actually listening to us and watching us and interacting with us.
I do think we have gotten lazy in that respect in terms of etiquette that you're talking about, Pat, because I rarely see a man anymore stand up and get a woman's chair and let her sit in it and then push the chair in, or wait until she picks up the fork until he starts to eat. I rarely see that anymore.
And men say things like, well, women don't like that. And I say, well, if you do that in a restaurant, you will see half of the women in the restaurant elbowing their partner saying,
if men only got it, we would all be doing that.
Exactly.
No, but if a woman says, no matter how old the guy is, if a woman says, honey, let's go to bed, he will pull her chair out almost instantly. There will be a fraction of a second. He will be so polite because he wants sex, right? No matter how young or how old the woman is. And how equitable is it that she just wants stuff?
But since the beginning of time, we're primates. We're not so civilized. Indoor plumbing is only about 100 years old, Pat. Okay, you might, never mind. Okay, so, we're not that civilized. We go back to the origins of when primates were dating. So men will say to me, well, women don't like when I open their door. I say, okay, now, Pinocchio, that's a lie. Just like women don't like sex. Well, I have a practice, and I've never heard a woman say, I don't like sex. So maybe she doesn't want to have sex with you.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
Or maybe she wants intimacy before sex.
Exactly. And the difference between intimacy and sex would be?
Communication?
Exactly. Intimacy is born of language. It's born of language. We begin to develop a relationship born of its trust and admiration and honesty and integrity. Okay? And then we get warm to one another, and then sex happens.
But isn't the difference between intimacy and sex about 45 minutes? I mean, are we really not talking about guys who just want to do it and women who say, romance me? And that's a reasonable request, isn't it?
Well, yes, exactly. There are 3 forms of it. There's casual sex, okay? There's the F word, and then there's making love. And they're very different, aren't they? And all 3 of them belong in a committed relationship. But as I was beginning to say, you can cajole someone into having sex with you, but you can't cajole somebody into loving you.
Right.
And that's the difference. Very few people get out of bed in love. That doesn't make love happen.
I want to write that down.
Yes, you do that.
And also, listen, there's a note here that I have that I would like to have an answer from both of you on. This is the one that has puzzled me forever. Why is it that so many of you women in general, and I am going to make a generality, why you are attracted to the bad guys in middle school, high school, college, early
I'm hearing
dating,
groaning.
all of the being a nice guy doesn't mean you're boring.
Right.
You can be a really interesting, good-looking, nice guy, and immediately when the biker with the tattoo on his face comes in, oh, wow, wait a minute, that's my kind of guy.
I think because, for me, I think it's because, and I've really never been attracted to that kind of guy, honestly, but I think it's because it's the unattainable. It's the guy that we can't actually pin down and have. If it's too easy, I know for myself, if it's too easy, I don't want it.
Yeah, but you didn't write the book. Barbara?
We're attracted to flash. We're attracted to flash. It's flashy. Not only that, but bad boys tend to be narcissistic and self-centered. So, a narcissistic, self-centered human being will reflect you to you. You're almost falling in love with your own reflection. And they're doing what they have to do to be attractive to you. Is it authentic? No. Does love with a bad boy work out? Rarely.
But then why don't women know that? You were saying, why don't guys get it? Why don't
flashy.
women understand that?
It's flashy. It's got a hook in you. It's flashy. Oh.
You know, the way we're raising boys and men, we are raising them basically, if you're successful, you make a lot of money,
Right.
you have a lot of things, you're a great provider. So let's talk about raising these boys. They're sitting in the boardroom. How do they go from the boardroom to the bedroom?
Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. We have this whole Trump philosophy, Donald Trump philosophy. It's not how well you played the game. It's, did you win? You didn't win the silver, you lost the gold. Okay? It's not how well you played. It's not the grade that you got. It's the grade you got rather than what did you learn. So we've actually engendered that in our children. I mean, I've watched a Little League game where, I mean, they are running after each other with a bat. I mean, that's not
And the dads
sportsmanship.
are encouraging them.
Exactly. Why is it always about winning rather than the experience of the game?
So the things that work in the boardroom do not work at home in the bedroom.
No, they actually don't. I've said to men often, you may be the boss, pal, but you're not my boss. Well, you can't direct and boss someone that you are pursuing and courting. I mean, why would a woman agree to that?
We've only got about 30 seconds left, and a whole bunch of folks are out there saying, yeah, but wait a minute. Hold
Yeah,
it.
but-
I'm a boomer. I'm a boomer man. I'm a boomer woman with kids. Is that a huge barrier?
Yes and no. It depends on the kids. It depends on how you've raised your children. I mean, if your children are, you know, wild, then somebody who's used to calm serenity is going to be put off by that.
I'm glad you introduced me to her.
I'm glad I learned a little bit more about men.
Yeah. Well, and remember that tomorrow, won't you,
Right,
please?
I will.
Barbara Kennedy. Name of the book.
Baby boomer men looking for love.
You know what? If I can find it, I would hold it up immediately. And well, then you hold it up, and I'll just say, hey, you know what? If you've been interested in what Barbara had to say about your boomerisms, then you might find even more here between the front and back cover. We'll be back in just a moment on the McMahon Group.